So yeah, I'm Brian Rabin. Large part of my time was spent managing the beach monitoring program, but I have since moved up to being the manager of our aquatic sciences programs, which houses the beach monitoring program. And about a year and a half ago now, Lindsay joined us and took over the program management. And we had a couple exciting things happening. And so um, COVID kind of slowed that down, but we still proceeded with it. And so Lindsay's going to kind of give you an overview of our beach monitoring program and fill you in on some of the changes that we're kind of excited to see happen. So, Lindsay, I'm going to do the same. You myself, it's all you.
Thank you, Brian. So as Brian said, my name is Lindsay, and so I'm fairly new, but I'm the Beach Monitoring Program Coordinator for South Carolina. I'm really excited. I think I came in at a great time where things had been really developing right now with everything, especially with Check My Beach. So with this program, or with this presentation, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to start out and give you guys an overview of our beach monitoring program, and then I'm going to lead into the work that we've been doing with our partners for Check My Beach and developing it over the past couple of years. So there we go. South Carolina's beach monitoring program began and the Beach Act was established in 2000. And so the main purpose of our program is to protect public health at the beach when water quality levels are unsafe. And so what we do is we monitor bacteria levels, specifically Enterococcus. Now, Enterococcus is a type of bacteria that's normally found in the intestines of warm-blooded animals, and it's not normally considered harmful to humans, but it does act as a really good indicator species for any type of fecal contamination that might be in the water. And so normally you'll find higher levels of Enterococcus after heavy rainfall events, especially if you're in an area near any stormwater runoff. And so we monitor Enterococcus during our beach monitoring season, which is from May 1st to October 1st at 122 sites along South Carolina's coast. So the way that we monitor these sites during our beach monitoring season is divided into a tiered system. And so this tiered system is based off of the likelihood of having a high-risk event, bacteria event occurring, and on how much the beach is used. And so, for instance, our Tier 1 beaches are those beaches that are highly used or they have a higher medium risk. And so these are sampled weekly. Our Tier 2 beaches are those beaches that have a medium or low risk or a medium or low use, and these are sampled twice a month. Now, the City of Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach do monitor their sites weekly throughout the year, and they do share that data with us as well. Once we collect our samples, we bring them back to the lab, and what we do is we use a media called EnterAlert, and we mix that with the sample, and we put these in these Quantitrays that you can see here on the screen. And with these trays, we incubate these for 24 hours. And so once we receive these results, the data is reported as NPN, which is known as the most probable number. And so what that means is it's an estimate of the number of live bacteria that's within the sample. And so what we do is we use these results to issue swimming advisories. And so these swimming advisories are issued whenever our test results exceed our water quality criteria, which is greater than 104 NPN per 100 milliliters. And we realize how important it is to get this advisory information out to people as quick as possible because, like I mentioned before, it does take 24 hours for us to incubate these samples and get the results. But what's really important to note, though, is that our beaches are not closed whenever we do issue swimming advisories. And so, but what we want to do is we want to advise people that have like a compromised immune system or any open wounds or cuts to not go swimming in these areas during this time. But walking, wading along the beach is perfectly fine, or doing any shell collecting. But we want people to try to be aware of where they are on the beach. And so if you're in an area that may have like a stormwater drain, especially during this time, to try to avoid the walking through the water there, or especially swimming through there. And so just make people be a little bit more aware. Now, we do issue two different types of swimming advisories. We have our long-term advisory and our short-term advisory. And so our long-term advisory is issued at our locations where more than 10% of our samples are over a 5-year period exceed 104. And so these are reevaluated at the end of each year. And most of our current long-term sites are located near known discharge sources. And so at the sites that we don't currently have a long-term advisory issued, we issue short-term or temporary advisories. And so these advisories are issued whenever we have a single sample that exceeds 104 and it's located near a known discharge source, or if we have 2 consecutive samples that exceed 104, we'll issue these temporary advisories. We'll also issue a temporary advisory immediately if we ever get a single sample greater than 500 mpm. We do continuously monitor these sites, these temporary advisory sites, until we receive a single sample back that is within our water quality criteria, and then we will lift that advisory. So one of the main ways that we notify people about these advisories is through posting signs on the beach. And so I've got a few examples here. The 2 examples on the left are examples of long-term advisories, and so these signs are posted year-round. The one on the right is an example of our short-term or temporary advisories that we issue. And again, we have these signs posted for the duration of that advisory. So once we get that sample back that's within our water quality criteria, we will take these signs off the beach. Now, people can also find out about our saline advisories online. So you can go onto our beach monitoring page. And actually what we did this past year is we updated our beach monitoring page to include a table at the bottom of it that will automatically update with any temporary advisories that we've issued in the state. And so this is actually an example from this past summer here. The other thing that's really cool, you can access it through our beach monitoring page, but if you go to the South Carolina Beach Access Guide, you can also look up any advisories there as well. And so if you haven't gone to the Beach Access Guide, so that's a picture on the right over here, this is actually a really cool GIS interactive map that shows all of our sampling locations along the coast for our beach monitoring season. And you can see the status of these beach monitoring locations. So for instance, you've got several here that don't have an active swimming advisory during this time. There's one down here that had a long-term advisory issued, and then one up here that there's a temporary advisory. The other thing that's really cool is if you click on any of these locations, it will tell you the last date that the station was sampled. And it will also tell you what the average percent exceedance is for each of these sites. And then also for just extra information, anybody that's on this can also click on any of these umbrellas and it will tell you information about beach access points as well. One other way that we also have notified people about swimming advisories that we've issued, specifically temporary advisories that we've issued, has been through press releases. One thing though that we've realized with the press releases over the past few years is that it was reaching the wrong audience. And so we were actually getting a lot of inquiries from people from other states asking about our water quality versus targeting people at the beach that were there during that present time. And so a lot of the people that were at the beach whenever we issued these advisories were finding out about it several days later after we had lifted the advisory. So what we decided to do was we decided to work with local municipalities and counties to try to see if we could come up with a more modernized communication and education system to try to really target the right people with this information. And so what we were able to come up with together was creating a website called checkmybeach.com. And so our goals for this website was to try to create an easily accessible website that had beach safety information for everybody and that encouraged them to keep coming back to it. We also wanted to make sure that it linked to DHEC's beach monitoring page to try to encourage people to check up swimming advisories. And we also wanted to make sure that this information was targeting people that were currently at the beach at the time. And so what we decided to try to target people at the beach was to try to post signs such as this one, promoting Check My Beach. And also to make it easier for people that were at the beach, we wanted to put these QR codes on the signs. So this way they could easily scan it instead of having to sit there and type Check My Beach on their phones or anything. They could scan it and it would take them directly to the website. So we're really excited about this idea, but what we wanted to do was to try to test this concept before we really put it into play. So at the end of our beach season in 2019, with the help of the City of Myrtle Beach and the Myrtle Beach Chamber of Commerce, we're able to do a pilot study to see if people would use Check My Beach. And so during this time, we had 500 brochures printed and 43 signs were posted in the Myrtle Beach area. And what we did is we monitored the web traffic. And what we found is that Check My Beach actually directed on average 30% of our web traffic each day to our beach monitoring page after the project started. And so we were really excited about these results because to have such a small area direct that much traffic to our beach monitoring page, we thought was very positive. And so we wanted to go forward with developing Check My Beach. we met up with our partners again in 2020 to really develop the website and expand it to try to encourage people to use it. And so what we had decided was that we wanted to try to include beach safety information as a whole, which is probably one of my favorite aspects of this program. So it doesn't only include information about our swimming advisories and link to DHEC's beach monitoring page, but it also has information about Rip Currents and South Carolina's flag safety system as well. And so by putting all of this information together in one area, you're really allowing somebody to make that decision on if it's truly safe to enter the water that day. We didn't want to stop there, though. We also wanted to make sure that it linked to local area beach web pages to make it easier for people. So if you're in the area, you can easily go to Check My Beach and it will take you directly to their beach page. So this way you can look up any rules, regulations, or just information about some of the local beaches. So all you'd have to do is click on our partners' logos and it will take you straight there. We also thought we would add additional information such as tidal information, the surf report, our weather and beach camera as well. Just again, to make this a great overall beach resource for people and to also help encourage them to keep coming back. What we decided with Check My Beach in 2020, we wanted to roll this out in phases. So we had our Tier 1 beaches in the Grand Strand area, all of them participate and Check My Beach. And for those beaches that were participating, we were not going to issue any press releases for any temporary advisories, because with posting signs on your beach, promoting Check My Beach, that was that extra resource that we're giving people. So we also, of course, wanted to make sure that people knew about Check My Beach. So what we did is we did a March roadshow. This unfortunately got a little sidetracked, or not sidetracked, but a little impacted due to the pandemic starting in March. But we were able to do 2 in-person meetings, and we were able to do another virtual recording of one. And we posted that one on our webpage as well. For all of these, we were able to also provide surveys for people, and because we wanted to make sure that we got feedback from people on this new communication strategy and make sure that they were happy with it. Our partners did a fantastic job, and in the Grand Strand area, they were able to post approximately 450 signs. And so we were really excited about all of their effort, especially during such a hard time for a lot of people. So again, we're just happy about everything they've done. Also, we have tried to promote Check My Beach through our websites. Our partners have also done the same, posting it through their websites as well, and also as much as we could through social media, because again, the pandemic, we weren't able to post through social media as much as normal, but we were able to do a post around Labor Day in 2020. We also were able to create this hotel one-page flyer that you see up here as well. And so we gave that to our partners. They could distribute it to any hotels in the area, because these hotels could then post it on their front page. And by having it up there, we wanted to make sure that our visitors to South Carolina knew that this was a beach resource that they could use as well. So again, we're really happy with all the promotions we're able to do, especially during such a hard year. So with our March Roadshow survey, we actually got overwhelmingly positive results, and we're really excited about it. And so you can see that the percent of people that were satisfied with this new communication strategy using Check My Beach, that everybody agreed with that statement, which was really encouraging. When we looked at the percent of people that plan to use Check My Beach as the beach safety resource, you can see that 92% of people agreed with that statement. So again, especially when you look at these both together, this was really encouraging for us to continue on with Check My Beach, because not only were people happy with this new resource we're providing them through Check My Beach, but they were also planning on using it as well. We also looked at the web traffic data from this past year during our beach monitoring season in 2020, and Check My Beach actually had over 16,000 unique visitors to it, which was really exciting. We saw that 77% of our visitors were mobile users, and this was really encouraging, because again, one of our goals for Check My Beach was to make sure that, or to try to target people that were at the beach. And that's what this stat was suggesting, was that we were reaching that audience. We also saw that 47% of people that visited Check My Beach proceeded on to DHEC's beach monitoring page. And so we were also excited about these results as well, because again, we wanted people not only to go to Check My Beach, but also to continue on to DHEC's beach monitoring page to potentially check on advisories on their own. And this suggested to us that we were achieving that goal. I also wanted to look at the trends during our beach monitoring season. And so what I did was I graphed our Check My Beach unique visitors with DHEC's beach page visits. And you can see the x-axis is the dates for our beach monitoring season. The y-axis is our visits. And you see DHEC's represented in blue and Check My Beach is in orange. And there's a very strong correlation between the two. So this is probably one of my favorite graphs during all of this. And so it was great to see that Check My Beach was really helping drive DHEC's beach monitoring page numbers. And so again, to us, when we were looking at all of this data, it really suggested that Check My Beach was working the way that we had intended it to. What I also did was I wanted to look at DHEC's beach monitoring web page numbers in 2019 versus 2020. We did have overall less views in 2019 versus 2020 due to the pandemic, because again, we weren't able to promote through social media as much as we have in the past. So it was approximately 3,000 views less. But what's really interesting is that we saw that 44% of our visits to our beach monitoring page actually came directly from Check My Beach. And so you can imagine if we didn't have Check My Beach this past year, how fewer of our page visits to our beach monitoring page would have been without it. So to kind of conclude everything, we really feel like we're successfully achieving our program goals for Check My Beach. We're really excited about the results that we've gotten. We've gotten very positive survey results and positive web traffic trends. We are planning on continuing to work with our partners to try to improve Check My Beach as much as we possibly can, and to also, of course, continue to promote Check My Beach, because we do want people in South Carolina to know that this is a beach resource that they can use. We're also currently promoting Check My Beach to the remainder of the state. So our efforts have been a little bit slowed due to the pandemic, but we've already talked to a lot of potential partners, and we're starting to work on trying to find ways to develop the website to not only say the Grand Strand Guide to Beach and Public Safety, but to be South Carolina's Guide to Beach Public Safety. And so that's why we're really excited that we're starting to work with the Center for Ocean and Human Health and Climate Change Interactions. So they're actually the ones that are maintaining the website, because Check My Beach actually really helps fulfill their mission in promoting human health and economic growth. And so the Center for Ocean and Human Health and Climate Change Interactions is actually a partnership between the University of South Carolina, College of Charleston, Baylor University, the Citadel, and University of Maryland's Environmental Science Center. And so we're really excited to use their expertise in really developing Check My Beach to become a statewide website, and finding ways that we can develop it even more by potentially using it for looking at ways for riptide development or projections and everything. So we're really happy that they're a good, neutral, holistic source that we can use for developing Check My Beach. And then we also want to thank all of our partners. Clearly, this has been a huge effort by a lot of people, and so it wouldn't be possible without Check My Beach, without having all of them participating in it. So I just really want to thank them for all of their hard work and for helping us out with everything. And I think Brian had a few things he kind of wanted to touch base on that I may have missed or add a little bit to.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that we, as Lindsay and I, really have a background in science, and data has driven all of our decisions. And it really has been getting into the beach monitoring program was a really big different aspect. It was taking that science and having to communicate it. And as Lindsay mentioned, our test is 24 hours old by the time we get the result. So this really is an education program. If the science, or when the science, because it's moving that way, when the science catches up and we can issue the advisory the day of, then the data will really be very good for us. But until then, it really needs to be an education program, and that's what all of these partners are bringing to the table for us. And also, as the public health agency, I'm concerned of you getting sick in the water, but I'm also concerned if you get drowned, or if you drowned in the water, and that's as huge a impact as you can imagine. And so being able to bring the full suite of safety to folks through this project is really, I think, the one-stop shop that really we need and have needed for a long time for this. And Lindsay alluded to something. NOAA has just released an experimental project for doing their riptide modeling. Well, having Socorro, who's funded through NOAA and the Arnold School of Public Health, and OHHI, there's an opportunity for us to maybe help deliver those models locally once the Weather Service is open to having those there. So it's that flexibility and the capabilities that all of our partners bring to the table. I really have to also stress the support in the beginning that we had from the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce and the City of Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach. They all went to bat and helped us all the way through this. Everyone in the Tier 1 beaches, they see this as a way to reach the people on the beach, and that's who we're most concerned about. We did mention the people in Tennessee. Yes, I want them to see my website, our website. I want them to know and understand the ways to be safe. But we also want to make sure that we're reaching the right people at the right time. And that's what this program is helping us do. Reach the people at the right time with the right information.